Morning Stampers, happy Friday. I know it's a little bit early, so if you're watching on Facebook, you're getting a notification maybe, or going, wait, why is she starting now? So grab your coffee, but today's card is going to be one featuring the Snailed It stamp set. And I am really excited about this one because there are some great opportunities to add some things to your collection from this book, which is about to go away. So if you're, jumping on sort of at the last minute because you're like, wait, Meg, we're not supposed to start for 5 more minutes, hang in there. You can go back and check out what you need. So morning, Kay. See, we got a couple of people who found me already. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So hey guys, Elaine and Cindy, good to see you this morning. So today's project uses Snailed It and some other supplies from this same fabulous suite, and I should have looked up page number ahead of time. But one of the things I love about this suite is the coordination between the paper and the dies and the pieces. And if you saw my walkthrough of the retiring last chance list and the great opportunities on there, you will see that there are lots of things that are 50% here. So snail dies, the twine and the resin hearts, lots of good opportunities. And the dies and the stamps match perfectly with the paper, which I am going to show you. So we're doing a fun fold card layout this morning, and that layout uses the fun fold card layout uses the split front card design. So I've got my pieces kind of there ready. So to start this card, what you want to do is you want to cut your cardstock to 7 1/4 inches wide by 5 1/2 tall. So basically you're going to trim off that edge. You're still going to score it at 4 1/4. So there is going to be the front of our card. And in the video description where the supplies are listed and everything, I also wrote in there to that this is like having your cake and eating it too, because you get the pretty front of your card, plus when you open it, you're going to get that pretty front still going. So, whew, okay, good. I'm glad you guys found me. Sorry to throw you off with our schedule. Hey, Cindy and Rita. Sunny where you are, Rita? It's sunny here today too. It's gonna be kind of a scorching weekend for us. All right, so to go with this piece, what you want to add is a piece of designer series paper, and is that right? Yeah, okay. So what I do, I'm gonna tell you kind of my secret for cutting this designer series paper, because you want this edge to match up right here where the split is. The best way to do this is to cut your paper to 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches tall first, okay? So you're gonna cut the rectangle, then you're gonna cut it so that this piece here is 2 3/4 inches wide, and that is what's going to fit here on the front of your card. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this down. And if you're thinking a split front card, that sounds vaguely familiar, Meg. That is because I showed one with a peach that I haven't demoed yet, so that one's still coming. And I showed one with the penguins or puffins. I always want to call them penguins. So here's my puffin split front card. So kind of remember this one when we did the split front. Instead of using designer series paper on the front, we used that spiral die stamp, and then we stamped it and then we cut it so that it would fit across there. So things to check out. All right, now I'm gonna take the second one, and before I put that in, I'm gonna go ahead and stamp the white panel, because depending on how wide you cut this, I usually cut it to 3 inches. Sometimes that gives you a little bit too much, but I like to have this overlap here. So I'm gonna stamp first, because there are a few things more painful. Okay, there are a lot of things more painful. It's really not that big a deal, but you'll just make your life easier if you stamp first and then stick the pieces together, so that if you make a blurb or catch an edge or something, you can still flip that page over before you stuff it in your card. So, all right, so I've got a You Snailed It. We've got a little cute set of toadstools. And this stamp set is a wonderful one for all kinds of things. Really, this stamp right here could go on the front of every single envelope that you send. If you're just looking for something quick to add to your envelopes. Lots of this word bubble is good for lots of different possibilities. And there's a die to match it, which we're gonna see here. This is just a really nice universal kind of element set. The mushrooms are super cute, And the die set has, well, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Lots of universal things there. So now that we've got our white piece in, I can go ahead and pop this on. Morning, Sue. There we go. So you can see that that overlapped, which means that when I close my card, that is going to be nicely hidden, okay? And our design just carries right across there because of the way I've taught you to cut that designer series paper. Okay, so now what next? On our split front card, we're gonna kind of take the same idea here. So we have a panel down here at the bottom right, and so I need an element, and oh my goodness, look in the snail dies, there is the perfect element shape. So this postage stamp is, let's get that ink out of the way. This postage stamp is perfect. So this is going to be our base right here. And I went ahead and cut that from Bermuda Bay cardstock, which is just one shade darker than Coastal Cabana. So that's a nice match for our designer series paper. And then I'm gonna pop 2 dimensionals. Make sure you don't put any on this side because you don't want to seal your card shut. So I'm just gonna pop these over here, okay? And then we need some embellishments to put on here. So here we did a greeting and puffins and so forth. With this stamp set, like I said, we have that cute word bubble, we have these cute snails, but going back to our designer series paper, we have some really fun opportunities here. So you'll see all of these little word bubbles, which not coincidentally match perfectly here with our dies. So let's grab this one here. So I could cut out any of these left or right facing. And there's German, there's French, there's English, lots of good possibilities, just the heart. But I'm pretty sure everyone knows what bonjour means, so I don't really have a problem using the French on my non-French speaking friends. And then also in the paper opportunities, we have, where's my opening? We have these pieces here where, I need to find one that's still got the opportunity available. Here we go, where some of the snails match the dies. So this one is here, and you can cut out a pre-colored, perfectly beautiful snail for your card. So I have done both of those things already, and I have our snail and our little greeting, okay? So also, I wanted to point out in this die set, there's 2 dies here that match other images from the snail set, but then there's these cute little mushrooms, several of them, a couple of hearts, a window die, and an envelope die that matches that window. So we're gonna come back to this in a minute, okay? So even if you aren't thinking you want to use snails on a lot of set or cards or projects, this still is an excellent set to have in your collection. See that postage stamp die in the little envelope. Okay, so I have my little snail guy and our little word bubble there. So we could go ahead and stick this down, but I think we're gonna add one more fun element, and that is this little mini envelope die. So I went ahead and cut this from Real Red cardstock, and this is a great die because not only does it cut out the edge, it also adds a pretty score line, a stitched line. Can you guys see that? A pretty stitched line around the edge, and the scores for scoring for folding your envelope. So all you have to do is fold 3 sides down, and we're gonna go ahead and stick this down like this. Now, let's see, I think I'm gonna grab my multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm gonna put one little dot here. Now you'll see that it doesn't really matter quite as much. And then I'm gonna put the glue at the very edge of this panel up here. It doesn't really matter so much if I glue this shut. If you're using this to actually put like a little note in or something like that, you would wanna be a little bit more careful about not gluing it shut. But since green lid glue, the multi-purpose liquid glue doesn't grab instantly, I'm just gonna set this here with a block on it, maybe a couple blocks. There we go. So that it can have a good chance to kind of grab and set on there. All right, and while I'm waiting for that to dry, do you wanna see another split front card idea? This one is one that I just pulled up yesterday. I really like having a fun layout idea, just like the split front, and then making it kind of in different versions so that you can go back and kind of easily craft something. So this one used the one I'm gonna show you, used the Wildcats stamp set and coordinating dies and the gorgeous In the Wild designer series paper. So this, I shared a picture with some demonstrator friends, and one of them said, oh my gosh, I was not interested in that stamp set. Until, of course, I saw your card. And I have to say, I kind of felt the same way. It wasn't until I saw the sample, and this one is, I'm sorry, in the new book. It wasn't until I saw the sample in the back here that I thought, oh my gosh, I really do like that one. And here's that card there that really was kind of my go-to inspiration. I really liked the way that came out, and that "You Are Fierce" greeting is good for lots of people. Sometimes we need a little support. So Big Cats dies here, and you want to see the card. So here's my split front version of that card. I promise we'll get back to our snail and finishing it in a minute, but you can kind of see that I did the same technique here with the designer series paper. I cut it exactly the way I showed you on our snail card, and then added a stitched rectangle and those cats there on the front. So kind of a fun way to make the most of that design with a different stamp set. So if you make one of these split front cards, maybe you'll do that this weekend. Know that there are lots of applications with the same layout. So, okay, back to our snail. Our envelope is nicely stuck. And so we're gonna incorporate this. And I love this little envelope because it's the perfect size to make it look like our snail is just coming out of the envelope and bringing his cute little greeting. So I'm gonna pop this down at the very bottom so that it looks like he is kind of on his way out, and I just stuck him with a dimensional. And then because this part of our card moves a little bit, I'm gonna put some Seal Plus on the back. If you get a little extra that goes over the edge, I don't know if you can see that, just flip it back onto itself so that it isn't adhesive sticking out randomly on your card. And stick that down, and then our word bubble here. And I'm gonna put, again, the dimensional to make sure that it doesn't overlap and be here behind the edge of our postage. So I'm gonna pop that right there at the very inside. And there we go, okay? So there is our cutest little snail card. So would you guys like to see some other snail examples this morning? I think I pulled them. Let's see if I did. These are some cards that I shared earlier in the series. So they're video tutorials for these. This was one that I did where I colored the snail. And then these cards are the Valentines that are on sale right now too. This card is one where I used that same little envelope trick, and instead of using the pre-done snail, I went ahead and switched up the colors and colored it myself. But you can kind of see where that word bubble comes in. I wanted to show you. Even if your word bubble doesn't quite fit your greeting, all you have to do is cut out your greeting and stick it on the word bubble with dimensionals. So this little bubble is super valuable, a great thing to add to your stamping collection. And remember, this is gonna retire on June 30th, so don't miss that. And then this is the designer series paper and the little mushrooms and so forth. And then I think I have one more. Yep, this was a DSP card base. So another chance to have your cake and eat it too, right? By using the designer series paper as your card base. So there we also use the postage stamp. And this time I stamped the little hello. Oh, and I forgot to show you the little resin hearts. So these guys sadly are going to be going away also, those darling resin hearts. But while they are on the retiring list, you can get them for half price, which is a super fabulous bonus. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a heart or two to this guy. I kind of like to put it here below the hello as a nice, let's try and get it square, as a nice little accent. There we go. So I just added one right there, and that just really kind of dresses up the front of our card. So. All right, well, I hope that you guys have enjoyed our snail mail this morning and our split front card ideas. So remember, you can make your split front cards any design that you want. I have another split front card coming soon with our peachy stamp set, so you can watch for that one. And then again, this is the last chance to check out the snail mail suite. So in the video description are links to the retiring products lists and the special pricing that's available on a lot of those things, like the snail dies that are half price. So be sure to check those out. All right. Happy Friday, everybody, and I will look forward to seeing you on Monday and hearing about everybody's weekend. If you have fun, crafty plans, make sure you leave a comment and let us know so we can all be excited for you. So, all right, happy stamping, guys. Thanks for watching.